Welcome friends. In today's video, we are going to see one of the important concept in Spring Boots, that is what is Spring Boot profiles. In this, we will understand what is the sequence diagram for this, how this process work, as well as we will see some diagrams. Based on that, we will understand how we can connect to the different environments in our applications, and each everything we need to know about what is Spring Boot profiles. Here the question is what is Spring Boot profiles, or similarly, interviewer will ask you like what are the environments used in your projects. So these are the same question only. For both the question answer will be same there, because while developing any application, there will be different environments available. That environment we need to push the code specific to the environment. First, we will understand this what is Spring Boot profiles. So Spring Boot profiles are mechanism to segregate part of application configuration and make it available only in certain environments. Means different environment will be available there. For example, QA will be there, dev will be there, UAT will be there, pilot will be there, as well as production environment will be there. These are the environments available while developing applications. This environment, it will segregate the each part of the configuration. Means we need to maintain separate configuration for each environment which is specific to the. For example, I have QA environment. For that, I need to specify different QA properties. That profiles we need to set here. If you see, for a default Java application take place as a application.properties file. But for the specific use cases, we will define this as application production.properties, application QA.properties, application UAT.properties. Whenever we push any code, that we need to activate this profile based on our code developments. So here, if you see, these features allows you to define different configuration for different environments such as development, testing, and production, and then switch between this configuration easily. So what we are doing here, we are switching based on our requirement. For example, I want to test my application in the test environment. That time I will switch into the test environment. I want to push my code to the production. I will switch to the production environment. Here are a key feature for the Spring Boot profiles. You can define different configuration for different environment. That is, for example, we will understand this. Let's suppose here, if you see, there is a different configuration is there, like in your application. What are the different configuration will be there? First, you have you have configuration related properties, relation properties, as well you have LDAP details for connecting your servers. You have different endpoint URLs, URLs, or you have Kafka configuration, These are the different properties, and these properties are specific to the each environment, because if we change any single word in that while the development time, there will be failure in deployment of our applications. So this we need to work this very crucially with this application properties. And whenever you are switching between these profiles, you need to make sure that there is no change in configuration properties. Then only your deployment will be success. Let's understand this with one example. For example, here are different users is there. They are pushing their code in this platform. Like we use Git, we use Bit, we use or SVN. Based on our project requirement, we will use this. Then Jenkins will be there. Jenkins will take the code from this, and it will means there here will be CI/CD pipeline will be there. This will CI/CD will means CI/CD means continuous improvement and continuous deployment. That is done with the help of Jenkins. Jenkins will check our code. It will check active profile, which profile is active. Check active profile, and it will, based on that, it will deploy our code to the specific. If this profile is active QA, then it will go to the QA environment. So QA specific database will be there. For this database, this is the QA database. These properties we have, this database configuration we maintain in our application.properties file. Like here, I will mention all the QA related properties and their configuration. And whenever I want to this spring profiles.active, I will set to the QA. Here, if you see, this profile will be set to the QA. We will run this application and we will see what happens here. Now, similarly, this Jenkins, what it will do, it will check again different environment. If we set our environment as a dev, then it will deploy our code to the dev environment. Then UAT, it will deploy into the UAT. These are the functioning about our application profiles, Spring Boot profiles. So while development, there is chances like maintaining each profile while deploying. For that simplicity, we use this Spring Boot profiles. Because of this, we don't need to maintain configuration. We don't need to change anything inside this QA dev or any UAT environment. Just we need to specify which profiles is active in our current Jenkins will check this active profile and it will specifically deploy that our application into the specific to the our server. Similarly, let's see here, if we see here, we got the message like for the following one profile is active. So default configuration properties is application.properties. Based on that, we need to mention in which environment we need to deploy our application. For example, I have add here prod. We will just rerun this again. It will show us the following. This profile will be active in our current application. So this is the some important points about this active Spring profiles active. We need to be careful with this while developing. Here, if you see, the following one profile is active, which is prod. Now we mention this as a Spring profile.active. Let's understand further the use cases for this, benefit for this. So benefit of using profile is easily manage different configuration for development, testing, and production. As we have seen, we can easily manage environment specific configuration for the testing, development, and production environment. How we can manage that? With the help of this application.properties file. Then simplified deployment, activate the appropriate profile for the target environment during the development. Then clean code base, separate environment specific configuration from main application logic, keeping the code base clean and maintainable. Then flexibility, quickly switch between configuration without changing the code. So we don't need to change the configuration code. We can switch directly based on our configuration properties. Let's understand this with one sequence diagram. For example, here Ravi is there, or maybe different users is there. Ravi, Santosh, Sandeep. Like we can take this. So they are pushing, commit and pushing the code. So Ravi commits and push the code to the Git repository. Git repository, what it will do? It will trigger the build. It will trigger the build with the help of CI/CD, and then Jenkins trigger by the Git repository. So who done this? This is done by Jenkins. Let's understand this. So Jenkins triggered the Git repository. Then Jenkins check active profile. Which profile is active? Jenkins check the active Spring Boot profiles. Spring Boot profile is suppose here dev is active. It will deploy this code into the dev environment. Here if you see the dev environment is there. Then next here if you see once it will connect code is deployed to the dev environment, then it will connect to the dev database. Similarly, here we have seen dev are connecting to dev application are connecting to the our dev app is connecting to the dev app database. Then the dev environment connect to the dev database. Then dev deployment status will be sent back to the dev environment send back the deployment status to the Jenkins. Jenkins will this status will be sent to the Jenkins. Then deploy to test. Then if we deploy this application to the test, the code is deployed to the test environment, and test environment connect to the test database. Test database will be connected. The here test environment connect to the test database. Then after that, here test development status will be there. Test environment send back to the deployment status if it is deployed or not. Based on that, we will understand like our code is deployed or not. Then deploy to the prod. Code is deployed to the production environment based on our requirement. If profile is set to be the prod, it will deploy to the prod. Similarly, each we can do this. Then it notify the deployment status. Jenkins notify about this deployment status to the user. User will provide feedback. So the user provides feedback to the based on the deployment. So this user is QA user. They are checking if that status is done. For example, here if you see Aditi as a QA engineer, she will check, and based on that, she will return the status to the our user, which is Ravi. So Aditi provides feedback to the Ravi based on the deployment status. Then they are collaborating on the on resolving issue. So these are the real-time processes. We do this when you are working with the any project. That project, this you will go through this process. You will understand while developing this. This we need to do while deployment process. Then there will be Ravi and Aditi collaborate to resolve any issue during the deployment process. Then continuous integration and deployment will be there. If any issue we got in our project, that we will fix, or again we will deploy. Again, Jenkins will pick that deployment and push to the code over to the environment specific to the production test like this. So Jenkins handles continuous integration and deployment to all environment, ensuring that code changes and automatically tested and deployed. This is the use case of the profiles. Based on the profiles, we can manage our configuration easily, and we can use specific properties to related to our application. Here, if you see, this is the very important. It becomes important when you are working with real-time projects, because at that time you will have to manage this configuration. Without this managing, means without this doing properly, you cannot deploy your code. Your code will be fail if any configuration changes happens in your property files. Here if you see, we need to mention data source URL specific to the username password specific to the our environments. That's all from this video, guys. I hope you have gained some knowledge from this video. If you like the content of the video, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.